right, let's try this again. Okay. All right. Sorry, a little technical difficulties. All right, we're going to try this again. All right, I'm pretty sure I got it. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Again, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Trying out some new technology. Greasy Gav Gav, the heavily lacquered sun god of San Francisco, the biggest gaslight artist in the entire planet, just dropped a video on YouTube earlier today and on his Instagram. It is the most clown shoe gaslighting video I've ever seen in my days. This guy is a complete dirt merchant in every aspect of the word. So we're going to do a live reaction video. I'm quite certain that the audio is going to work this time. So thanks for bearing with me. I really appreciate it. And let's do this live reaction to Gavin Newsom's stupid video. All right, here we go. I'm pretty sure you're going to hear it. So I'm going to play the first thing, and then you tell me if you hear it, and then I'll go for it.
Hey everybody, it's Governor Gavin Newsom. And this fall, Californians were once again saddled with record gas prices.
All right, does everybody hear it? Please let me know if you hear the video. Did you hear him talking in the video? I'm pretty sure you did, so I'm going to play it again. All right, good. Let's do it. Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's Governor Gavin Newsom. And this fall, Californians were once again saddled with record gas prices as big oil reaped record profits.
Okay, before we get any further, big oil reaped record profits primarily, and let's just be transparent here. Big oil lost a tremendous amount of money in the year 2020 and even in 2021. These are publicly traded companies. You can go online and you can look how much money they lost. They lost billions upon billions of dollars while all of their revenues were down. A lot of these companies restructured and they reassembled different parts of their business so that they could be more profitable because they just had this year of loss. And many of these oil companies don't really lose money that much, and a business is in business to make money. So they lost a bunch of money, but nobody subsidized that. The government didn't pay that money down. Nobody covered them when they had billions of dollars of losses. And look, I'm not trying to sit here and defend the oil companies. I'm just saying this dude's a liar, and he's trying to make these oil companies out to be the bad guy here. And even though they've done bad things in the past, who the hell is this dude to pick out these companies as making too much profit? If these companies restructured so they're more profitable after having this down year, okay, so look at these numbers and you're like, wow, they profited so much. Well, how much money do they profit usually? And did they make record profit after having a year of record loss? The answer is yes. Let's continue.
When have you heard that before?
We've heard that before. This guy is the absolute worst, complete gaslight artist. Continue.
This time, though, we're going to do something about it with our gas price gouging penalty.
See, we're going to do something about it. This is how this guy does it. We're going to do something about it because every person out there that feels like they're the victim, which they play right into your hands, is sitting there like, I'm the victim. And here, I'm from the government and I'm here to save you. That's exactly what this dude is doing. Complete gaslight artist. Let's continue.
The governor is calling on refiners to rein in their profits or face penalties for price gouging. Price gouging is already illegal. There are specific rules about price gouging that are already on the books. If these companies were gaslighting or were price gouging, they would already, if these companies were price gouging, they would already be able to come after them. They wouldn't have to say, if you price gouge. Well, if they already made the record profits and price gouging is already illegal, which it is, then they could have already come after them. But they didn't price gouge. He's just using this to gaslight you, to make you believe that he's actually doing something. Let's continue. gouging.
If approved, a civil penalty would be imposed by the California Energy Commission on oil providers that are overcharging. The money gathered from those penalties would then be given back to drivers.
It would also expand requirements for transparency. It's an effort, the governor says, to force oil companies to lower the cost of gas.
To force oil companies to lower the cost of gas, to force them to do it. The government stepping in and forcing you to change your price. Is that free market capitalism? I don't think so. Are there already rules in place to prevent price gouging, the exact same thing that they're pretending that they're not allowing these companies to do? Yes. I'm going to play it back a second.
Oil companies to lower the cost of gas.
Finally, we're standing up to big oil.
Finally, we're standing up to big oil. Why don't you stand up to big pharma, you demon? But okay. We're standing up.
Of course, big oil's been out there pushing the same old lies and myths that they've been out there pushing over and over and over again to protect their record profits.
I've never heard I don't think I've ever heard any message from big oil pushing any lies. I've seen an oil commercial not that many times, and certainly not in recent years very often. I remember when BP put out a bunch of commercials after the oil spill to rebuild their brand. But when's the last time you saw a commercial from ExxonMobil that wasn't anything about them just saying we're working on making better gasoline? They never say anything that he's talking about. I've never seen them pushing any of these supposed lies, but whatever. I mean, who even pays attention to what these companies are saying anyhow? But that's a total just gaslight. Here we go.
Here are the 4 big oil myths you've been fed.
Here's the 4 myths you've been fed. Okay. Okay, read that. Another gas tax for Californians at the pump. Let's go.
California already has the highest gas tax in the country, and if something is not done, it will rise again, and that will impact all of us.
False. This is a price gouging penalty, and Californians won't pay a cent for it. Only big oil will if they price gouge you at the pump to line their pockets. The penalty is all about preventing price hikes from happening in the first place, so money stays in your pockets. But if big oil companies violate the law by charging you
excessive profits. What does excessive profits mean? How do you say that someone's profits are excessive? If there's not an existing law to say that a profit is excessive for any business, no such thing exists. There is no such thing as an excessive profit. It's an incredibly vague term that means absolutely nothing. What is excessive? Price gouging is already illegal, I repeat, but there's no such thing as an excessive profit. There's no business that exists in free market capitalism that could say, this is too profitable. You want to know who makes excessive profits? Cologne, perfume. Perfume is one of the highest margin items that's sold in the entire world. A vial of perfume could be a fraction of the size of this, and they could sell it for hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. Who is to determine that that's excessive? If they have to pay David Beckham $25 million to shoot a commercial with him sitting on a beach and then spraying himself with some cologne, they spent the money for David Beckham so that you would buy this specific liquid. The highest margin item is cosmetics and perfume and colognes. So what's excessive profits? If those companies were to say, we're not going to hire David Beckham, and let's say David Beckham comes out with his own cologne, so there's zero cost for him to do the commercial, and he only does the commercials online where it's free, he only does social media commercials or whatever, then who determines that it's excessive? Is excessive based on margin? Is it based on the size of the company? ExxonMobil is not the largest corporation in America. So who does determine what is excessive? Is it margin? Is it total? These guys are just picking and choosing at complete random to try to gaslight you because oil and gas is the commonality between all people. It's the simplest and easiest thing to push back on because everybody's getting blasted by it.
Profits. They'll be forced to pay the penalty, which will be refunded right back to you.
Yeah, so the oil and gas companies are going to be forced to pay a penalty for supposedly price gouging, and then supposedly Gavin Newsom's going to figure out a way to pay it back to you. How are they going to do that? How are they going to refund that money back to you? They're just going to place it in your bank account? What if you bought gasoline with cash? What if you were in there buying it with a gift card? How are they going to know to credit it back to you? How could they possibly do that? They could barely figure out how to pay people Corona clap payments, and those are legitimate businesses, and there was an incredible amount of fraud. There's no way that these people could figure out how to pay you back the supposed money that you spent on this. And the amount of money that would be caught in the red tape, in the middle ground when they tried to figure all this stuff out, well, all the money would be evaporated. So it would basically be another inflationary tax. They would just squeeze more money out of you, the taxpayer, to pay this bloated theoretical amount of money that's going to be refunded back to you. They could never figure out in a million years how to actually refund that money to you. It's a completely preposterous precedent. But I want to replay this one clip, because it's interesting what the myth was and then how they reframed it. So let's play it back.
About preventing price hikes from big oil will if they price.
Watch
all of us.
Watch what she
it
says.
will rise again, and that will the country already.
Okay. Gas tax. It's another gas tax for Californians at the pump is what the myth is. It's a myth that it's not another tax. But in fact, it's a tax on the corporation, which means that the corporation's going to pass it to you. Corporations don't just get dinged by the government, by the establishment, and go, oh, oopsies. They're going to pass that down to you in the form of increased prices. They're not going to be able to just take it away from their employees. They're going to increase the prices. They might not do it that day, but they're going to find some other way to do it at some step in the chain. So it is a tax. It's just not an actual tax, but you will be paying more for it. The company's not going to be like, sorry, oopsies, let me just go. And in addition to the California gas tax is already the highest in the country. That is a pure fact.
California already has the highest gas tax in the country.
Which is true.
And if something is not done, it will rise again, and that will impact all of us.
And what she's saying, and that clip is completely being taken out of context. If something is not done about what? This could be completely taken out of context in this actual news broadcast.
False. This is a price gouging penalty, and Californians won't pay a cent for it. Only big oil will if they price gouge you at the pump.
Which is already illegal.
To line their pockets.
To line their pockets. That's just a completely added nothing comment.
The penalty is all about preventing price hikes from happening in the first place, so money stays in your pockets. But if big oil companies violate the law by charging you excessive profits, they'll be forced to pay the penalty, which will be refunded right back to you.
Like I said, impossible.
Right back to Californians.
Oh, well, what if you come from another state? It's gonna be paid back to Californians. Did you notice that? What if you drove over the border? What if you were visiting? What if you were in Nevada? What if you were passing through? What if you're not a resident of California, but you're buying the gas in California? If it's gonna be refunded to Californians, then what if you're driving through the state? What if you refill in the state? What if you cross the border? It's impossible for them to give it back to you. So he says Californians, because it would come back to you in some other tax credit or some other benefit down the line, or never at all. Gas prices are high. Okay, so this is a myth, right? Here's another myth that he's telling you. Gas prices are high because of taxes and fees. Gas taxes and fees in the state of California are the highest in America. That is a fact, but okay. But gas prices are high because of taxes and fees. Well, they are high because of policies, but let's continue.
Contributing to these skyrocketing prices, there are other factors at play, including the highest gas taxes in the country.
Which is a fact.
False.
It's a fact. That's a pure fact. You can look it up.
When gas prices started skyrocketing in August and September, our gas tax and fees hadn't changed a single cent. Not a cent.
Yeah, the gas taxes and fees didn't change a single cent, but they're still the highest in the country.
Oil won't say why they suddenly started charging Californians a record $2.61 more per gallon than people in other states.
Because of policies and red tape that they have to follow in that state that costs them more money, in addition to the fact that you already have the highest taxes, which means there's probably really high taxes on a variety of other things and processes in that state as well.
But we know it resulted in record profits. Get this, can't make this up.
Oh, you can't make it. This guy is such a greasy, gaslighting liar.
In just 90 days, they reaped in $63 billion in net profits, with billions going back to stock buybacks that benefit Wall Street.
So a stock buyback is a company using its own money to buy its own stock. This is a completely normal practice that Wall Street companies do. It's not nefarious. It's not a good thing, but if money wasn't so cheap and available, they wouldn't make this strategic move. The policies let them do this in the first place. So the fact that they took a risk and bought shares of their own stock back at in a lot of cases, an inflated price, a higher price than it is today in some cases, that's a risk that they took. And if the money was so cheap, which it was for so long, then buying back your own stock, that's them making a strategic decision for themselves. But okay.
Our proposal includes some of the nation's most aggressive transparency measures as well, so we can get answers and prevent it from happening again.
Okay, look at this. Myth 3. Suspending gas tax will bring down prices. Dude, that's like being like, if I lower the cost of something, it will bring down prices. Myth. It's a myth, and a lie.
Some Republican lawmakers at the state level are determined to put this gas tax on ice for a while until prices stabilize.
Okay, they want to put the gas tax on pause for a while until prices stabilize. California, being that it has the highest gas tax in the United States of America, would then temporarily suspend that tax because they always claim they have such a surplus, which they don't. They would just take it away or reduce it like they did in Florida. And you'll watch, he's going to blame Florida in a second.
And they're saying we're not trying to put an end to the gas tax. It's essentially a suspension for 6 months just to give people a break at the pump.
False.
False. Suspending the gas tax would only give oil companies a huge tax break.
No, it wouldn't. Suspending taxes that are billed to the consumer would not benefit an oil company in any way. Taking away the taxes that you're charging the consumer on top of the gasoline that, let me remind you, has already been sold to the gas station that is taking their very slim margin as well, doesn't give any tax break to that company. There's no tax break. The only person that receives a tax break is the consumer by definition, but okay.
And there's no guarantee, none whatsoever, they'd pass down the savings to people at the pump.
Yes, there is no guarantee that they would pass down savings to people at the pump because reducing the tax that the consumer pays doesn't change the cost that the oil producer is getting charged. It doesn't change how much the gas station is paying for the gas. If I'm the end consumer, you have the company that's drilling it, refining it, and finishing it, right? They have the finished product. That's your first company that's paying an amount in order to get it. Let's say that they pay, let's just use an even number. They pay $100 to produce a barrel of gasoline. Let's just use an even number. Then they sell that barrel of gasoline to the gas station. The gas station pays $110. So they have $10 of margin. And then on top of then when the gas station sells that out, they make back $112 for that gas. So the gas station makes $2. The oil company charged $100. Maybe it cost them $95. Who knows? And then on top of that, you get charged a tax in addition to that. So you come in and pay your tax. If they take your tax away, it doesn't change the cost of the gas. It doesn't change the cost that was paid to the pump or to the gas station that sold it to you. It just gives you the ability to not spend that money. There's no savings to pass down because they're not saving any money. The only person that would be saving money is you, the end consumer.
They collect even more in profits while putting critical improvements to our roads and bridges, our infrastructure at risk.
So how do they put the infrastructure at risk? How is there any more infrastructure, roads and bridges risk than there would on any normal day? What's the additional risk that comes by them selling gasoline? It's the same amount of gas, and reducing the taxes for you doesn't change any risk. There's no infrastructure at risk. That is a complete fabrication. He's totally injecting that for nothing, but okay.
Don't take my word for it.
Yeah, we don't want to take your word for it, you lying greasebag.
Look at what happened recently as an example in the state of Florida.
Oh, look what happened in the state of Florida.
They had a 25-cent gas tax holiday for the month of October, and drivers only got 8 cents.
Yeah, that's from the Palm Beach Post. And literally it says, did they save? And it's just like, what other factors are being taken into? This is how they lie with statistics. First of all, the Palm Beach Post is a complete hack newspaper, complete leftist newspaper that's incentivized to toe the establishment line. We know that these places lie, not to mention the fact, what does that article even say? Oh, they only saved 8 cents. How do they even know that? How do they even quantify that and calculate that? They only saved 8 cents. Oh, well, if DeSantis took 25 cents per gallon off in the gas tax, but the price of gas went up 13 cents that month, it doesn't change the fact that he took away the 25 cents. It doesn't change that fact. But they may not have saved because the gas may have gone up that month because of other policies and other things that are happening in the natural marketplace. So again, he's totally gaslighting you and lying to you. Like, they only got 8 cents. Well, they still got 8 cents, you liar. They still saved money. So instead of them paying more money like they would have there, he took away 25 and they saved 8. Even if these liars didn't lie, they saved 8. Okay, so for a lot of people, that could be a big deal. It's like, all right, it's 20 gallons. If you're buying, what about these big truckers? They're buying hundreds of gallons a week. I mean, seems like that 8 cents would stack up a little bit. Maybe buy yourself a hamburger. Who knows? But whatever. The fact is, they save money. So this lying demon is making it seem like this is a bad thing, but okay.
It was reported that, quote unquote,
it was reported. Who reported it, you liar? The Palm Beach Post reported it? What upside down clown sneaker person with a degree in upside down penguin studies? That's giving him too much credit. Upside down lesbian dance theory studies. Who is the one that most of the savings? It was reported. Who reported it? Some jabroni at the Palm Beach Post?
most of the savings, unsurprisingly, were pocketed by the fuel company.
How did the fuel companies pocket any additional money by them taking away a gas tax on the consumer? That doesn't even make any sense. It's like, oh, they took away the consumer tax and then the fuel companies pocketed the difference. How do they do that? And if a gas company decided to increase the exact amount of money and they all did it and then the other companies didn't, well, then their competition the people would fill up at the competition. If I raised the price by 25 cents and the guy across the street didn't raise by 25 cents, it'd be pretty difficult for me to compete. If I collude with them, that's called price fixing. That's price gouging. That's illegal. They would receive a huge fine for that. So it's like, that's already illegal. If they did that, then you would already have been able to get them for that. But this dude can't figure out how to get people to stop pooping in the road in California, but he knows what's happening in Florida, 3,000 miles away. But all right.
Even, by the way, as gas prices continued to rise.
Another gimmick to demonize the oil string. Dude, that is literally what he's doing. It is literally a gimmick, a literal gaslight to literally demonize the oil industry. That's exactly what they're doing. Their agenda is, everything has to be green. We all have to lick Greta Thunberg's boots. It's like, these people are such gaslighting demons. The only accurate thing in that slide right there is the word demon in demonize, because that's what these people are, but okay.
Just like we heard from Gavin Newsom that it's big oil's fault. It's everybody's fault except for the Biden administration, Gavin Newsom, the green pushers who are all creating the policies that are limiting the supply of oil and limiting the investment.
That is literally a literal pure fact. That is 1,000% A1 spot on. Pure fact. And before this slime bag speaks again, I'm going to replay what that woman just said because she is correct.
Just like we heard from Gavin Newsom that it's big oil's fault. It's everybody's fault except for the Biden administration, Gavin Newsom, the green pushers who are all creating the policies that are limiting the supply of oil and limiting the investment.
That's just nonsense. Let's be clear. Big oil has been screwing you. They charged California's record high.
Big oil has not been screwing you as much as this lying grease bag has been screwing you. They've been screwing you. These people are so spineless and slimy, lying demons. and they're picking this company out while Big Pharma made redonkulous profits and screwed you way more than any of these companies did. But all right.
Gas prices in 2022 peaking at $6.42.
Yeah. Look what I just said. Look at that line.
$6.42 peaking at $6.
Here.
Gas price.
They charged Californians record high gas prices in 2022.
In 2022 peaking at $6.40.
It didn't peak at $6.42 per gallon. Some people were paying over $8, $9 a gallon. They're saying peaking at that because that was the average in the whole state. And this lying scumbag didn't want to write $9 because that's what people actually literally paid. So even though he's trying to gaslight you about how high it was and how much they charged, this scumbag is saying a number that's lower than what the actual number was because he doesn't want you to know how bad at his job he is. And also he's a demon.
2 cents per gallon. By the way, that was despite the fact, get this, despite the fact that the cost of crude went down at the same time and there was no increases in state taxes, regulations, or any fees during that time.
Just because the cost of crude may have gone down at some point in this lineup here doesn't mean that the refinery costs went down, doesn't mean that the other travel prices went down. Like they still had to transport the fuel from one place to the other. And then on top of that, you have all these people that are getting paid to stay home and open up their Dirt Star and watch Netflix and Tiger King while they collect a check from the government. It was probably really expensive to get people to work at that time. There was a lot of different things that were going on. So even though the price of crude may have theoretically gone down in this time frame, there was a variety of other costs that were there. In addition to the fact that the policies that these demons are laying out are making it difficult for them to drill, produce, refine, move them around, and then they're demonizing them at every corner, saying, we're going to take all your profits away, threatening them at every corner, getting them to invest in other things. It's like these guys are not stupid. If you're sitting there saying, we're going to come and take all your profits away, are they really going to build a new refinery? Are they really going to continue drilling? No, they're going to figure out some other way to reduce their costs so that they don't get blasted in the brown eye by some demon like this guy. Not to mention the fact that they just got absolutely destroyed in the previous 2 years. People weren't driving. They weren't allowed to drive. So it's just like, okay, you lying demon. Yeah, maybe the price of crude went down, but what happened to the cost of labor? What happened to the cost of tires? What happened to the cost of brakes of all these trucks that had to move this stuff around? The price of brakes goes up. The price of rubber goes up for the tires. The price of maintenance goes up. The price of all the different aspects that go into moving this stuff from point A to point B. On top of that, the actual gas stations themselves, their costs went up. The cost of labor, the cost for the pumps to get repaired, the cost for them to have people in the business. Then on top of that, the price of everything else went up too. The price of food, the price of snacks and goods and items that went inside the store. The only place that they had for any margin would have been the gas. So again, there's multiple players that are looking at the price of this gasoline when it gets to the end consumer. So this guy is just such a gaslighting, lying demon. And then on top of it all, there's all these fees that are going up for all the gas station owners. So if a gas station owner has to cash out or they're going to go out of business, their business gets bought out or maybe they go bankrupt, some other business has to consolidate and maybe acquire that business. There's costs that are associated with that and getting them onto the same system. All of these things have to get baked into the cake. You're not in business to lose money. He's like, big oil just got it. It's like there's more than one cook in the kitchen. You lying, gaslighting demon.
This is about protecting California families.
Yeah, I'm here from the government of California. I'm here to protect you. Meanwhile, we just dropped 100 tons of sewage into beaches in California because we're too incompetent to figure out how to do our job correctly. Oh, and by the way, there's a guy pooping on your sidewalk and sprinkling hypodermic needles at your kid's bus stop. But the stupid gas companies. We're here to protect California families. Okay, demon.
And adding the same level of transparency other industries already face. Last time I checked, it's not about demonizing an industry.
I hate how this guy talks. He is a total gaslight artist. It's not about demon. It's like you know what it usually is? It's what you say it isn't, you liar.
By making them play by the same rules that everybody else does.
They already play at the same rules that everyone else does. If they weren't playing at different rules, it's because you liars set the rules. You guys set the rules, demon. But okay, what rules are they not playing at? But people are so brainwashed and clueless, and they're just grabbing their ankles and opening their balloon knot so that Joey and Gavin can park a truck inside there. It's like, you're a lying demon.
While Big Oil spends millions of dollars to lie to you and push for drilling right across the street.
That wasn't Big
kids'
Oil.
Schools and playgrounds.
That was Congress. So Big Oil, what? So you're insinuating that this guy in Congress lied to you?
Right across the street from our kids' school.
Watch this.
While Big Oil spends millions of dollars.
Okay, is that guy Big Oil? Maybe he is, maybe he's not, but that kind of looks like Congress to me. But okay, so Big Oil is lying. That's a guy in Congress. That's a guy in Congress lying to you about Big Oil. And they're saying, oh, look, they have 11,000 unused federal leases and 6,000 partially drilled wells, and they still want more. Has anybody ever considered that the unused federal leases are because it's too risky to drill on that land, and they don't know that if they invest and they do the R&D on that land, that Joey Basement and this greasy demon couldn't just come in at any time and pull the lease, which they literally just did? Or they have partially drilled wells because maybe they didn't find enough oil there, and they're like, they have 11,000 unused leases. It's like, maybe because they don't trust that you're not going to pull the rug out from underneath them, demon. Maybe the wells are partially drilled because they didn't find enough resources there to justify the cost. But this creepazoid demon that probably has stock in all the electric companies and cobalt mines over on the other side of the planet is like, look, they want more. They're lying to you. It's like, no, you're lying, you scumbag.
To lie to you and push for drilling right across the street from our kids' schools and playgrounds.
Drilling across the street from a kid's school? What are you talking about?
And daycare centers. California is doing whatever it takes to protect our communities from Big Oil's greed.
No, they're not. They're not doing anything to protect any community from Big Oil's greed. Big Oil is providing a product and service that people are choosing to purchase. They're providing the literal lifeblood of the economy. And it's just like, these guys are protecting you from Big Oil's greed. They can't protect you from a bumblebee tuna at the end of your block that's dropping a hot brown sandwich in front of your kid's bus stop. They can't protect you from the most basic of things, yet they're going to protect you from greed, the pie in the sky. What is this demon talking about?
Accountability, transparency, fairness.
Yeah, it's accountability, transparency, and fairness. They say what they're not doing. They lie by saying that. That's like being like, trust me, trust me. That's what people say when they can't be trusted. If you could be trusted, you wouldn't have to say, trust me. But all right, it's not accountability, it's not transparency, and it's not fairness. There is no accountability. He's trying to say that they're going to make accountability for this one thing when there's a million other things where there's no accountability. There's a million other things where there's no transparency. And fairness, these people are the ones that are the arbiter of what is fair and what is not fair. These people are such liars.
That's what we'll get from Big Oil with our price gouging penalty. It's exactly what all Californians deserve.
So you get the drift. So this guy's a demon. He's a complete gaslight artist and liar. And that video enrages me because he's lying right to your face and using intentionally vague language and fun piano music in the background in this stupid slideshow that's some upside down jabroni at who even knows what this company even is to gaslight you about what is not going to actually happen. Anyways, that video was 5 minutes and 10 seconds long. It took me 34 minutes to get through it. I appreciate you being here for the technical difficulties. Everything is dumb. If anybody has any questions, I will drop in. I'll read some comments real quick before I jump. But I just really wanted to show you guys that video and give a live reaction because I knew it was going to take longer than I thought, and I freaked out, of course, as usual. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate that. Yep, this is all accurate as well. Yeah, it's like they lie to you, they gaslight you right to your face, and they pretend like they're doing something. And it's like the last thing that you ever want to hear is, I'm here from the government and I'm here to protect you. I'm from the government. I'm here to protect you. These people are such lying gaslight artists, and it's embarrassing that absolutely anybody takes these people seriously. All right, anyhow, I'm going to drop out for now. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a good night.